Hello, and we have a question to answer. You see, I've driven many fantastic cars on this series, but what about the worst cars? So, what is the worst car in the world? And I started out here with what I call the boring cars. Cars that are just dull. But they can't be the worst in the world. As dull as they are, they're just boring. They're not awful, they're just boring. And that's a completely different category. So these cars I did have to exclude. So I had to do a bit more digging, shall I say, to find the worst. And I start off with the Dune motor. This thing is not very pretty to look at. Rusted up no matter what you do. It does actually get a bit of wheel spin, but I think that's a little too exuberant because I'm at 40 miles an hour. 45. 50. 55. Almost at 60. There we go. There's 60 miles an hour. There we go. 0 to 60 time about 10-15 seconds. Come on, we're almost at 70. Almost at 70 miles an hour. Come on, please get the freeway speed. Please, please. I forgot to run out of runway. So in the entire runway, it took us to get to 68 miles an hour. That's pathetic. Wow. But it can't be the worst vehicle in the world, because, unlike a bunch of other vehicles, it's actually pretty good at off-road. It has good suspension and good tires, and the torque, which doesn't help in high speed, is immense. So, yeah, since you're driving off-road in GTA a lot, it's a very good vehicle to have, not the best, but, you know, it's actually not too shabby. It's just slow, and hideous, and noisy, but it definitely doesn't deserve the worst vehicle in the world. Now, sedans are often a contender, but the Sultan RS certainly isn't. It shows that you know how to make a sedan. You make it four-wheel drive, you give it a Bale turbocharger, massive wings, cool paint, and you turn it into a fantastic racing machine. It's nimble, it's agile, it's fun to drive, it's light, and I love it. It's a perfect car, if you ask me. Absolutely perfect. This, however, isn't. This aircraft carrier-sized car is the Albany Emperor. And this is from the 1980s during the gas crisis where EPA regulations choked all the horsepower. So it has 150 with a 7-liter engine. Yeah. So we're gonna do a drag race between a modern sedan and this one. So, on 3, 2, 1.
What?
Oh, he's going. I'm foot to the floor. He's just pulling away. Come on. Give me. Okay, he's just gone. That was embarrassing. That was not good. Huh. So let's try a slower vehicle, like say a Delante. So we're at 50 mile an hour rolling start, giving me a good advantage. And here we go. Oh, he's pulling away. I'm being pulled away by a freaking Delante. How is this possible? Oh, that's just embarrassing. You got out-dragged by a crappy hybrid. That's... wow. I have no other words other than the word wow. Whew. Speaking of hybrids, this is probably the quintessential hybrid. The T20. It's a four-wheel drive, incredible looking hybrid supercar, twin turbo, and it's perfect. It's got active aero, it's fun to drive, it's controllable, even when I'm sideways I can control it. And, well, if this is the future, I'm looking forward to it a lot. But this is also the future. The Delante, and it's almost tempting to put it in the boring class, but it's such an exceptional level of dullness with the technology available that I just had to make an honorable mention. Now, it's not quite the worst car in the world. But considering the technology that's in it, it is pure trash. I mean, also the fact it looks like a bug that's very depressed. It's not a good looking car. Now, Canis has made this vehicle for 30 years for the US military. So you would think they would have this off-road stuff down to a science. But by this next vehicle I'm going to show you, they don't have it down to a science. This is the Kalahari, and it looks kind of like those Nazi wagons from the 40s. The Things, as they were called. Yeah, they're not good looking cars. Not only that, it's not a good off-road either because it's got too thin tires, not enough torque, it's too light to have any traction on the wheels. It is just rubbish in every category. And not on top of that, it has no air conditioning, no comfort seats, no back end, you only see two and the roof doesn't come off. But apart from that, it is an absolutely brilliant car and I highly recommend you buy one. This is awful. But by far the worst crime made by a high-tech manufacturer was this. This is the Vapid minivan. And is a car so unoriginal that the name is the class of car it is. That's actually called the Vapid minivan. Now this is a sport model, which means it goes 0 to 60 in under 15 seconds. And that's a shame because Vapid is a fantastic car company who have made such legendary vehicles such as this. Big fan of the original, but rear-wheel drive, naturally aspirated V8, spin-fire, multicolored Gulf livery inspired. It is a phenomenal car. It's not the best supercar, but it sure is darn fun to drive. And when you find it on the streets, it's a nice looking car. So you gotta wonder, with a vehicle like this, why would you make this? Was the lead designer on a smoke break or something, so they just hired Ron the intern to design it? That's the only possible explanation. But here's the problem. All of these cars are cheap, and that's good. Which means if we want to find the worst car in the world, it has to be expensive and from a manufacturer that should have known better. And that is why I am in a Baller. You see, the original Baller is nice and cheap, only $90,000. It's a good all-wheel drive luxury off-road SUV. It's a nice car. And this is the extended version, the long wheelbase. And from what I can tell, the way they extended it to make it longer is they made the rear door twice as large. So instead of giving you more space in the back, they just gave you a lot more legroom, which I mean is fine, but you know, I also like some stuff in the back occasionally. We don't need to be able to fit a smart car and a Panto in the back seats. Not only that, for a little bit of extra carbon fiber and a bigger door, it costs $350,000 for a slightly longer, with the same drivetrain, same engine. I mean, it's literally the exact same vehicle except for some carbon fiber and a bigger door. However, I will applaud them on this. They did not make it too long. It still just about fits in parking spaces. Which, I mean, I guess that's kind of a win. If you're pulling strings. This is a Drift Tampa. And, well, based on what you're looking at, there's no reason it should be the worst car in the world. And, well, starting from the handling perspective, is one of my personal favorites. I mean, it's just so much fun to drive, and the noise, the slidiness, I mean, it is incredible to drive, and easy to drift, which is rare in this game, because these games have so much grip. So why is it on this list, then? Well, if you ignore the incredible sound, the all-wheel drive VA, and the slidiness of it all, you will find a $950,000 sports car that's still one of the worst in the class. It's stupid slow in the sports section. It's not even competitive for the top 20. And, despite the appearances, it has zero customization. Zero. How is that possible? That I can have such little customization? I mean, that's just criminal. You pay 950 grand for this car, and you get, I mean, perfect handling, so... But yeah, you think you'd get a little more. But despite all this, it's one of my favorite cars to drive, and in no way deserves to be the worst car in the world. Electric cars. It's about time we got to these. And, well, they are hideous. This thing here is probably one of my personal favorites, though. This is the Cyclone, and I'll tell you why it's my personal favorite. We're just going to, launch it. Whoa! Okay, I never get used to that. It just picks up like a cheetah or a gazelle. It's just brutally fast. All-wheel drive, instant torque, electric. That is stunning. But then as I turned the corners, I remembered why I hated it. No, whoa, Christ, the twitchy oversteer just... I hate it. It's a very wise contender for the worst car in the world, because it's boring to drive, because it's quiet. And if you turn a corner, it does try to murder you. Which is never a benefit. But it's by no means the worst electric car in the world. Meet the Pegassi Tesseract. I hated this car when I reviewed it, and for good reason. Here, I'll just do a brief acceleration test to see if it's as good as the Cyclone. It doesn't pick up as much as the Cyclone, but once you get going, oh, it really starts to shift now. Oh, alright. Not very good pickup on launch, though. Not very good pickup on launch at all. Maybe it'll be a little better in the corners, so I have a little slalom test here. Let's just give her a go. Turn it. Turn it. Nice and easy, nice and easy. Oh, we're picking up speed. Picking up speed. Oh, don't have the grip. Don't have the grip. Whoa. Had to get on the brakes there. Since you have no arrow on this car, please turn. Please turn. No, turn. Turn. I can use a better turning radius. Turn. Turn. Thank you. As I was saying, since there's no arrow, the faster you go, the more terrifying it gets. So it gets twitchier and twitchier, and eventually, you just fear for your life. However, it does have one thing this awful, quiet, boring, suicidal car has, and that is the gull-wing doors, because gull-wing doors are always a win. And the last car that we have in contention is an Ocelot. This is the Lynx. And, well, as you can see here, it is very fun to drive. It's very loud, very exuberant, and looks absolutely brilliant in racing green. Which begs the question, why is it on this list? Well, besides, we've already had the uncompetitive car, and this is no exception. This is right in the same level as the Drift Tampa in terms of performance, very far down the table. But that's not its main problem, because the car can be slow but have fun, like the Tampa. But the Tampa is less than $1 million. This thing is not less than $1 million. In fact, It's far more. As in $1.7 million for this car. That's a lot of money. And I know it's a great car in the sound, and that almost makes up for it. But what else can you buy for $1.7 million? Well, you could buy, say, I don't know, you buy this thing. This is the hybrid all-wheel drive 811 supercar by Fisker. And at the same time, you can also buy this one-off Jag for $950,000. And I know it's two I would rather have over this very good but very overpriced Ocelot. It's just far too much money. But at least it's fun. So, after much deliberation between Tesseracts, Ocelots, and other various vehicles, the worst car of all time, all things considered, is awarded to, drumroll please, the Tesseract. It's boring because it's quiet, and it's just horrible to drive. So, we're going to make sure that no one ever sees this again, this particular car. The only way that's really celebratory enough to do so. There we go. Much better. I think my work here is done. That was truly a terrible